the Black Parade. I am Dylan.
And I'm Chris.
And we are Sounds Obtuse Podcast. We have a fantastic show for you. Chris, what's going on tonight, brother?
Hey, man. We do have a great show tonight. Should we talk about the topic at hand?
I think we certainly should.
Inherent. If you couldn't tell from the top of the show.
There was a hint.
There's a
Did
big
you
old
catch
hint.
it?
If you are
geniuses out there.
somehow uninitiated, let us inform you. We are talking about
emo kids. And not to be disparaging. Did you know that?
Maybe a little disparaging.
I don't want to be disparaging. Chris might be disparaging. I won't be.
I don't know what you're going to say. I know what I'm going to say.
I'm taking a very sympathetic view. You're taking a very skeptical view, possibly?
We'll find out, won't we? We'll find out.
Perhaps?
We'll find out.
We will. Tune in. You are.
So, what you been up to today?
Today, I have been working prior to my 3-day weekend, which starts, it started after I got off today, but effectively starts tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Going to go up with my girlfriend up to Maryland, see some of my best friends for my birthday.
That's right, Dylan's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday when you see him on the interwebs.
It was technically yesterday on the 17th of November. But, certainly love all the birthday wishes, all the love. I felt it from everybody. Me and my girlfriend are going to go up to Maryland, see some of my best friends. We're going to go to Medieval Times. So I've mentioned we've been going to Ren Fair. I go to that every single year.
Yeah, Ren Fair, Medieval Times.
So we got a new thing going on. So we're going to
try. You gonna go back in time?
I don't know, man, but we're going to Medieval Times. We're going to see what's up. Possibly reenact some of our favorite scenes from Cable Guy, the movie.
Did that have a Black Knight?
I don't think it was Black Knight, but I think it was something about there was
surely there's a Black Knight of this establishment.
There was a chicken skin scene, which is pretty funny, where he acts like Hannibal Lecter. Quite good.
Don't remember that one.
Clarice. Anyway, so me and my buddy probably gonna get a little bit schlitzed, do some of that, just general shenanigans. But yeah, birthday shenanigans tonight. We had trivia night. Chris, you were with me. A surprise party. My girlfriend, she surprised me.
Came out
of nowhere.
Absolutely
surprised me with
Can't believe we pulled it off.
With an amazing party at trivia. Just came in for the win. Had everybody wish me happy birthday, buying me drinks.
The cake was great, Kayla.
The cake was fantastic. Pineapple upside down. My personal favorite cake. It was a lovely time. But I digress. It's been great for me, Chris. How has it been for you?
So, all right. Can I tell you about my morning?
Please.
I've been saving this all day,
man. I know. I have talked to you all day, and I have yet to hear about this morning.
Well, let me tell you about it.
So I am waiting with bated breath.
So this morning, I'm walking to work, as I do, and I got one street to cross. It's the highway.
17?
Right? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm walking down. I'm at just before I would turn to get into the parking lot.
Got you.
Right? Walking down. Lady pulls up beside me. It's like, hey, man, you dropped your phone back there. And I'm like, where? She's like, when you cross the street. I'm thinking shit. I'm hoping it's at the little, between the curb. Get to the first side of the street. Don't see anything. Get to the second side of the street. There it is. Right in the middle of the road. Green light's going.
No fucking way.
I see multiple cars run over it, but it misses, and the light turns red. Totally fine. Totally fine. So not only was there an angel sent to go out of their way to say, "Hey, you fucked up," but nothing happened. It was in a fucking highway for minutes. I saw it get ran over. Totally fine. So that's how my day started. And it's only been better from there.
Nice little gift from the heavens.
Yeah, it's really something to
whoever
be thankful.
Whoever you think's up there, maybe it's the universe, maybe it's God, whoever you think it is.
I said thank you to whoever needed to hear it.
Right. Just send one up. Just whoever's fucking listening, just an APB.
And speaking of things we're thankful for, later on in the episode, we'll discuss that as well and further. 'Tis the season.
Sadly, dear listeners, we are not.
All of you all over the world, especially you, Belgium.
Especially you, Belgium. We're looking at you. Love you guys. We are probably going to be taking a break next week, being Thanksgiving for us here in America. Nice
holidays.
Nice little holiday that we celebrate for a very, very controversial reason. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. and we're gonna be spending time with family and friends. I have actually a Friendsgiving. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm sure you'll have a nice. If you're making a charcuterie board,
I don't know if I'm making a charcuterie. I actually have a different talent.
put some pomegranates on it.
Bruh, I have a specific talent in mashed potatoes.
Interesting. Skins on.
No, not
Whoa,
usually.
okay.
No.
Hot take.
Irish style.
Hot take. Side note: I saw cranberry jalapeno pork rinds. Yeah, I have to get some.
Chris and I are big fans of the pork rinds.
So yeah, other than having a great day today, I've been playing.
We got second place in trivia. That was
three-way tie for first. We had all the answers and we changed fucking 3 of them.
I know, that's so sad.
And then we missed out one earlier, and it was just a disaster. But
we literally could have won. It was well within our grasp, and it was our own insecurities, which definitely ties into what we're talking about tonight. However, I don't want to cut you off. What else happened to your day?
I was gonna say, lesson learned: don't second guess yourself.
Don't second guess yourself.
Have
some confidence.
Yeah. Other than that day, I've been playing a lot of Double Dragon Neon. Great game. Physical edition just released. Fantastic fun beat 'em up. Play it on Game Pass. Super duper fun. I also had a special message from my cousin, listener of the show, friend of the show, Alibaba.
You want to know him well?
Yes.
Friend of the pod, dare I say.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on, but I feel like he is in fact a friend of the pod.
I have done a pod with him.
Oh,
we have I have a recorded conversation, which may see the light of day, potentially released on the Patreon at some point. Who knows? Anyway, he comments on our stuff. Love him to death. He wanted me to get this message out there. So you're familiar with Ike and Tina?
I am.
Ike and Tina had a foundation for battered women, but in reality, Tina Turner was a gangster pimp herself, according to Judge Joe Brown, because she shot Randy Jackson, that's Michael Jackson's brother, and then tied this hoe to the back of a Cadillac till her kneecaps ground off, and now the bitch can't walk no more.
Are you quoting something that I'm not familiar with?
No, that's just, let it be known.
That actually happened?
All facts right there.
Is that 100% real?
According to Judge Joe Brown and some other sources, yes.
I mean...
And my cousin.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Bad as in, she bad.
Yeah. All around.
Tina.
Yeah.
Tina Turner, what are you doing? Fucking shit up's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She don't take no shit.
She doesn't.
She does not take no shit. She reminds me of my girlfriend in that regard.
See, episode 6, we're nearly halfway there.
Were we halfway to? Is that the end of a season?
I said we can get to 15.
I guess you did, but 6 isn't even halfway to 15.
I say this because I have some pod corrections and or addendums. Things you wanted to dive into. And one of the things I said back in episode 1, I was like, we can get to 15.
We definitely
we belong there.
Chris.
So we're chugging along.
I've planned well beyond 15 episodes.
Oh, for sure.
I hope you're not only in it for 15.
No. I am for sure, but that's
I
a
have
solid
some
lot.
ideas. I think we both got some ideas for some stuff to expand on this pod.
So, okay, speaking of expanding on, I wanted to expand on episode 1. So, a few things that was said. I want to get off right away. Madden still sucks.
It really does. Listen, this is actually personal because I literally deleted it off of Game Pass 2 days ago.
Go.
I needed an update for Hunter Call of the Wild, which is far and above one of my favorite games. Unironically, it's one of the greatest games ever. If you just need to de-stress and shoot some animals, it's fantastic. I needed an update for that, and I was upset because I would have had to delete Madden from my save because Call of Duty takes up the entirety of my Xbox.
Yeah, the entire thing.
So anyway, I fucking was like, all right, I'm gonna play one more game of Madden and see what happens. And if this game works properly, maybe I'll actually leave it on here, and maybe I'll get rid of Call of Duty, which I haven't played in a minute. Fucking Madden sucks. Madden sucks so bad. I was like, I quit. Listen, I quit within the first quarter of no, this is fucking stupid. There's no reason.
You lasted that long?
It's
I wouldn't got past the menus.
It's taking 50 G's out of my fucking memory. I am done.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'm over it.
So we recorded a pre-pod, which you guys might hear at some point about Madden, and I'm pretty sure I can release it a year later and it'll still be relevant.
I think so.
That's the bet.
We are living through a time period of just absolute dog shit Maddens. The only thing that would make it irrelevant is if Madden 2022 is just...
It's not going to be better.
Is worse. Way worse. What if it's way worse? What if it's just...
Wouldn't surprise me.
What if it's just there's no difference between that and NFL Street?
it wishes it was NFL Street.
NFL Street was a decent game, but I'm talking about like, what if it just devolved into like
It pretty much has.
a comic
It pretty
book,
much
a
fucking has.
comic book of a game.
All right, so in addition to Men Still Sucking, I mentioned the movie with Nick Cage, and it was actually, he was in United 93, not Flight 93.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that was the actual name of the
United
flight.
93 had a 7.6 on IMDb, and Flight 93 had a 6.6.
Oh, it's two different
on IMDb.
movies.
Yes.
It's actually two different movies.
Yes.
He was in United 93,
Yes.
not Flight 93.
This one here, turns out, I got a lot of comments about this one.
Did you?
So yeah, this is probably the biggest thing from episode 1. Turns out, Bush did 9/11, not Bin Laden led Al Qaeda as previously determined.
I hate this so much that you even said it in this fucking pod. I have a strict policy to not give a platform to conspiracy
Had
theorists.
so many comments about
that
it though,
have been
and a quick Google
People
search,
are fucking wrong.
a quick Facebook search. You know, it's like, oh, of course. How was I misinformation? You know. So episode 2, there was nothing wrong in episode 2. Nothing wrong in episode 2. Psychic phenomenon. Everyone's psychic.
I honestly, I feel bad for not having more to say, but I'm just.
You said everything with what you did say.
I know, and that's kind of my point. Is I just double down on what I say. I'm not against any of it, but my nature is to be skeptical, and it just doesn't mesh with my personal philosophies.
All right, episode 3. We got the Halloween episode.
That was a fun one. I
was a
very
fun
much
one.
enjoyed that. Just shooting the shit. Just
Yeah.
enjoying talking about a very good time of the year. Not unlike we're going to be doing today. Just talking about a very cool cultural phenomenon that we lived through and experienced.
May as well be Halloween, am I right? A few things I was going to mention. How could I not have mentioned Cabin in the Woods? Great film. If you ever go see it.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I add one addendum in there
Yeah.
to Halloween episode?
Uh-huh.
When I say the smell of a costume store, does that ring a specific bell in your mind?
Yeah. Spirit Halloween.
Do you know exactly? No. Honestly, Spirit of Halloween doesn't quite do it for me.
No.
Think back.
Oh, you're talking about like specifically like there's like costumes like body size zip ups like hanging on racks and shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know the smell
Yeah.
that I'm talking? I don't know what it is.
There used to be one around the corner from me.
But you know exactly what I'm talking about. That smell, I wanted to mention that because it is one of my most vivid memories of Halloween, is the smell you got. I'm talking like early 2000s.
It's not the same smell, but it's the same feeling of like opening a new pool for the summer. You know?
Yeah, it's like this is the season. Here
Yes.
it is. It lingered with me a very long time, and I just had to touch on that. I meant to touch on it, and I did not get it. I didn't think about it.
Another part in episode 3, when Aubrey Plaza came up, I accidentally.
Babe of the pod.
Yeah, of course, official babe of the pod. So, I accidentally referred to. I'm a huge fan. This guy knows. I have shit all over the room. Huge Scott Pilgrim fan. I accidentally referred to her as Stacy Pilgrim, which is not true. She played Julie Powers, not Stacy. But in my thinking, there's a scene where like Scott goes into the second cup where they work. He doesn't know that Julie works there, but he thinks his sister's there. And then bam, she's out the door. Julie turns around, starts cursing at him, blah blah blah. That was played by Anna Kendrick, who here is a bitch IRL, allegedly.
I honestly like the stuff that I've seen her in, though. I'm not gonna lie, and especially Trolls.
So also a little fun fact, in Second Cup, the Canadian coffee shop that they worked in, Scott asked for a caramel macchiato. They don't sell it there, only at Starbucks.
What?
Yep, little trivia for you there.
Weird.
Also, peanut butter kisses.
Ryan,
those weird little peanut butter taffy, black and white, black and orange wrappers. PB kisses.
We were talking about those.
Peanut butter kisses.
That's their name.
Yep.
What?
Peanut butter
No,
kisses.
it is not. What a
Peanut
dumb
butter
name.
kisses.
PB Kisses.
Peanut butter kisses. Yep. All right. The next thing. I wasn't sure if it was like the preamble to the Constitution. It was the Declaration of Independence. Just listen back to that episode.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah. You didn't call me out on it necessarily, but I said both. I wanted to clarify that was the Declaration
And
of
I did
Independence.
say it was one,
Um,
not the other.
So Flag Day is indeed. I want to say June 14th, even though I fact checked it earlier. I don't know what it is now.
You dug so deep for these addendums.
Anyway.
Oh my God, I have nothing to add to
It's
this.
fine. You'll be there. So there's a Flag Day drama thriller coming out, or it is out. Came out 2021 from the Penn brothers. You know, Sean Penn and what the fuck his brother's name is.
That is a genre I never thought would exist.
Yeah, I know. And it's like about this father who has to like make counterfeit money to support his daughter and shit.
And shit.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
You get it.
Episode 5. Episode 5.
Was that patriotism? No, that was the last episode.
Yeah.
Which was not patriotism. You didn't talk about patriotism.
Yeah. Well, there was nothing else I needed
patriotism. To say. I had something for patriotism, which is why I was upset you didn't bring it up. I have an idea that we were talking about a little bit earlier, and it sparked a thing that I wanted to say during the patriotism pod, which was talking about patriotism as a thing one would talk about over a water cooler. I think about it like the kind of guy who's very dedicated to a football team. And so you ask him how his team did on Sunday over the water cooler. And he says, man, we did great. My team did fantastic. We were all over that. You know, we do it right. But then you ask him the next week. And he says, I don't know what they're doing. They don't have a good idea. I don't know what their coaching staff is doing. They just seem to not have any of it together. Those guys need to get it together. They don't take ownership over it. They take ownership whenever it's good. Whenever it makes them look good, they're happy to absorb that ownership and say, yep, this is my team. But whenever they're not good, they're like, nope, this is something different. I'm not really tied to these guys, right? And I see that all the time with patriotism. And that really frustrates me. I see all the time, if you call yourself a patriot and you're proud of this country's history, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you're only proud of the stuff that makes you look good.
Cherry picking.
Yes, exactly. If you are proud of our brave men in uniform storming the beaches of Normandy, if you're proud of them at the action in Belleau Wood, if you are proud of the Union victories at Vicksburg, at Gettysburg, if you're proud of those moments, if you're proud of us rebuilding Japan after our occupation of it, if you're proud of the Marshall Plan and the rebuilding of Europe, something that Europe is still proud of to this day, our assistance, if you're proud of all those incredible things, don't talk about how it was someone else who stole this land from the Native Americans. Don't talk to me about how it was someone else who enslaved thousands upon thousands upon thousands of captive Africans. Don't talk to me about all this bullshit as if the bad things are something that someone else did, but the good things are something that you get to claim. It's not your football team. You either claim it or you don't. And I personally claim it, and that's why I'm fully comfortable talking about it this way. I'm not being braggart or anything, but I personally claim our entire history. It frustrates me when people want to cherry pick this shit. You either take it or you don't. You're either accepting it of it or you don't. Take responsibility or be a little bitch. It's your choice.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely do.
That's my rant for the evening. Thank you for sticking with me through that one.
You guys final shout out episode 4, friend of the pod, Kristen, Animals Eating Foods with an S. It was the official TikTok shout out.
She was fantastic. I love her so much.
So episode 5, I was talking about Spider-Man villains, and I said the Vulcan. What I meant to say was Vulture. That was Star Trek I was referring to, not Spider-Man.
I was curious. I didn't think that was real.
So here's something else you might not thought was real. So remember when I think as we were doing the rants, Andy said you don't need. I think he said he would replace women with video games, right? He did. So that Saturday, watch a Weekend Update. They said a study suggests that men are replacing women with video games. Swear to God, if I could drop Weekend Update again. Kind of on the same note, actually, I want to make clear that I do not think women should be sex slaves, as you so said.
Did I say that?
You said I would be that way. You said that's what Chris wants, and I didn't say no in the moment, but I want to make that clear. That's too much work. Obviously, video games. You have a robot. You don't got to feed it. Robot sex slave, like nothing living. You're trying to get feelings. You're just fucking a computer, basically. What more could you want? Also in episode
That
5.
sounds so much better.
Also in episode 5, you said that Democrats.
Wait, whoa! Are you correcting me?
Yes. So you said Democrats are lazy. My mistake. That's absolutely correct. You're right. I apologize. I apologize. You are correct. You stand corrected, sir.
I do stand correct in the first place. Democrats are fucking lazy, and that's why we have baby Trump coming into the goddamn White House.
And probably the worst thing since baby Trump was Pangea.
That's the Virginia White House.
Pangea, which was 335 million years ago, in fact. And then about 175 million years ago is when it started to fall apart. Last note I think I want to make about... Actually, last two notes of episode 5. The piss carpet is actually called a contour carpet. Appropriate name.
Ooh.
Yeah, it makes it a little more fancy. It's like, it rolls off the tongue. Like, what do you think about contour carpets? And it's like, you fucking with the piss rug? Or nah? So, also, we were talking about Ken's dressing. And I think I said 100% proceeds go to charity. I was actually talking about Newman's Own. They donate to charity. And also, I wanted to bring up...
So Ken's doesn't?
They probably do. They're great. But Newman's Own definitely does.
God damn, this is just going to be another addendum down the line.
So Newman's Own donates to charity. I do want to mention a charity. So most people do No Nut November. I don't know if you're familiar. Beat your dick for a whole month.
I'm familiar with the idea.
So yeah, you might be familiar with the other one. It's like they call it Movember. It's like you grow a mustache and all that shit.
I don't need it. That's nothing new for me.
So yeah, like that's how I feel about it too. However, it is a charity that would help men live happier and healthier lives. It does prostates, balls, suicides, that sort of thing. Looks out for that. Founded in 2003. Because it is also like Native History Month. It's also Raisin Bread Month. Peanut Butter and Banana Pudding Month. As well as Bone Marrow Awareness Month. That's a little charity. Just a little charity shout out. Guys getting a little representation.
I kind of have... I want to plug Wounded Warrior Project.
Okay.
Because I think it's incredibly important that we just speak to our veterans and make sure that they're cared for. Whether or not you agree with what happens with our U.S. military and how our government uses it, that is in no way reflective of the men and women who take up the call and enlist and go and do these things. It's not reflective of them.
Are you asking them to be a patriot?
Yes. And I'm asking you to just look after your veterans and write to your congressmen and write to your senators. Be they Republicans, be them Democrats, because both of them are fucking neglecting this issue. Why do so many veterans die every day by their own hands? Because they're not getting the care that they need. Not that they're invalids, not that they have to be cared for hand and foot, but there are real issues that need to be addressed. And it's high time that we fucking do it. And it's ridiculous that out of
It's
all...
like the 4th episode we mentioned this, so we can't stress it enough.
Can you please just think about your veterans, write your congressman, donate to the Wounded Warrior Project or a likewise charity that supports veterans, but write your congressman and write your senators. Why are veterans not getting the care? We need to address this. It is high time to address this.
I got one last thing to address myself. So one last correction from the last episode. In fact, I said Weezer was goth.
You did.
So they might.
I remember this.
They might not be goth, but let me tell you, they might be emo.
They are definitely emo adjacent, at least.
For sure.
For sure. And that's fantastic, Chris. I feel like that brings us full circle to where we need to be. Very.
Do you want to dive in, or should I?
I want to talk about something for just a moment, and then we're going to let you take us away on a different kind of journey.
Okay.
So what I feel about emo, when I think about the term emo, I have personal attractions to that word. Chris, were you at any point in time, would you self-describe yourself as emo?
I would not.
He would not. I would. There was a time where I would describe myself as emo.
However, I was a fan.
You were emo adjacent.
That's what you want to call it.
I feel like that's a nice handy term.
Emo adjacent, okay.
Emo adjacent. I feel like I can be fitted into the term emo. I definitely lived it, even if it was just for a short time. But I kind of want to get into that because I feel like there was a personal attachment. But
Did you ever take the MySpace selfie?
Bruh, I had MySpace. The fucking music would play when you got on, and it was just...
That's the only way to do it.
It was
got us learning HTML and shit.
It was like all song lyrics. Like there was just boxes of song lyrics all over my MySpace page. It was a very good time. But that's not all of it. So I see it as one, and this is why I think you're so clutch here, because you know a lot of this stuff. The specific musical genre.
I did say Weezer was goth.
That is emo. We're going to forgive that, Chris, because we know you have a lot of knowledge about music. Anyone who listens to this pod can take a lot of things away from it. They're going to know you know a lot about music. It's just obvious.
I'll be playing live this Saturday at CA&J Farms. Check it out.
You know a lot about the musical genre of emo and emo core. Emo core being, of course, what came first, more of a late 80s, early 90s thing, I believe. And then you have emo as we know it, our age group, the thing we saw through middle school.
When we were budding teenagers.
Indeed. That's what we're going to talk about. So
the prime of our lives.
So we're going to talk about, on one hand, and this is definitely Chris's part, is going to be the musical side of it. Because first and foremost, emo was definitely, you would say, a musical genre, right?
I would say that.
First and foremost. However, I think that either... Maybe it's the chicken, maybe it's the egg. It's tough to say whether or not the genre...
I would say, can I say culture second, aesthetic third?
Man, you're just dropping all kinds of beautiful little doses of wisdom, and I love it. I'm saying emo, the music, led people into this philosophy, ideology, a definite social element to emo, an early internet social element. There was a lot of things that were different, that not specific to music, but it revolved around the genre itself.
Yeah, you could say like the fans of the music.
Right. So that's kind of what I think we're going to dive into. It's going to be kind of two different sections talking about the music and the way that the music affected those of us that experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, inside and out.
So with that, Christian, what is emo music and where did it come from?
Okay, so I just give the definition first. It's not my first note, but I'll give you the definition. Emo is a rock music genre characterized by an emphasis on emotion, expression, sometimes through confessional lyrics. That is emo.
Yeah, that essentially, yeah. I think of it as music that is incredibly personal, and music that, while it applies obviously to the person singing it,
like a buzz ballad,
it is also so random. It is obviously so specific to the person singing it, but it can also be applied to yourself in some way. Even if it's not like literal, you can appreciate it.
Emo has its roots post-hardcore, indie, alternative rock, of course punk rock. So like you said, it started kind of like in the mid-'80s with the subgenre of screamo. Do you know about that one?
That's where it lost me.
We'll find out about that, huh?
We will.
So, yeah, emo core with bands like Rite of Spring and Embrace to like the mid-'90s. The Midwest scene is when you really started seeing them pop out, the emo core bands. And again, to bring up that term alternative, it's really hard to pinpoint what emo was at that time because everything was, like I said, Weezer, you could almost say they were emo, but they were alternative, but so was like these definite emo bands.
It's such a broad term.
That's such a broad term.
Like,
I hate
Ani DeFranco is fucking alternative.
Yeah, so we're like the Foo Fighters.
Is she emo? Yeah, it is definitely a weird place to be labeled as alternative.
Yep.
What does that mean?
So you had all those bands kind of lost in the alternative shuffle. Some of them that I'm sure you're aware of, like Sunny Day Real Estate. I said Weezer, Jimmy Eat World even.
Jimmy Eat World
yeah,
is one of the harbingers, I would say, of emo culture. Jimmy Eat World had the album, I forget the name of the album that was super popular. That album is the meteor that brought emo culture to mainstream.
You had the bands like I just mentioned, and we'll say like, so that's like the main ember of it, right? And then we'll go as far as to say 2005 when like screamo went mainstream with bands like Hawthorne Heights, Under Oath, The Used, Seosin. That I think kind of encompasses like the biggest push of the emo.
I'm gonna actually fight your date a little bit and say
Really?
it needs to be pushed back a little bit.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're a little early on when screamo became mainstream.
Potentially. I'll say this: when emo started to become mainstream, that's when emo was like kind of like peaked or peaking,
Yes.
And that's the only reason screamo got anywhere near where it should have been. Hot take.
Yes. No,
It ride its coattails as high as that hill took it.
That is not a hot take. That is just truth.
Okay, I'm glad you agree. So much like goth music and bands like Weezer, fashion, music, and culture were pinnacles of emo. Did I mention that earlier? I think I did, huh? Fashion, music, culture, not in that order. So yeah, with emo, you had like skinny jeans, eyeliner, even like leopard printed hair with like pink extensions. Do you remember those?
So familiar.
And then the Hello Kitty netted fingerless gloves.
Oh yeah,
of course.
You had to have those.
Had to. If your belt didn't have fucking rainbow colored studs, what the fuck were you doing?
So you've kind of gotten us up to. Emo, as my understanding, as someone who is not as in tune to the music as you are, I'm gonna take what you said and speak from a dedicated but not.
Yeah, let's take it from someone who was there.
Right.
I didn't wear eyeliner. I didn't cut myself. None of that stuff.
I didn't. Hang on. Wait. You're throwing a lot of stuff at me real quick.
I'm saying you were cutting and eyeliner adjacent, if not.
So hang on. Are you saying you never wore eyeliner? You never wore guyliner?
So if you remember,
not once.
2-3 podcasts ago when it was Halloween, that's me and my makeup, baby.
That's not the same.
Oh, I put that shit on.
Did you wear that shit to school, not in a Halloween costume?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay, so
Sure didn't.
So you mentioned something else, but I do want to save that a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to talk about that yet. That's
okay.
I want to give that what it's due. You are talking about the music, the leading to culture and philosophy and stuff like that. And yes, I was there, and it kind of it kind of leads me to ask, when did you see it pop up? So
a big part of it for me, again, I love the music. When I mainstream wise, you started hearing it in video games, So I'd say like 2003, 2005, like was just like boom, hitting big. But you could hear it as early as like
where in video games?
Oh,
because I'm not familiar because I was not online.
I mean, you look at
games.
any EA Sports title from like I said 2002, 2005.
So you're talking about specifically the music being in stuff.
Oh yeah, but they were like you had Fall Out Boy on there, My Chemical Romance. Those are like your heavy hitters. I think Yellow Card. Like all those kind of artists like.
Avenged Sevenfold was on one of them.
Yeah, they say like easily 2003, like for sure. Like after that, it was like that's all you heard. All American Rejects as far as like Madden 07. Yeah. So that was 2006. So it was still going strong, moving along, if you will.
See what you did there, Chris.
Thank you.
So yes, So is that so? So you noticed it in the music, which sort of fits what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I mean, I seen it at school. Don't get me wrong.
The music came later for me.
Oh, this is
interesting.
Like I said, it's. I think we both agreed. Like it's a music genre first and foremost. And as a musician, that's the first thing that grips me anyway.
It is certainly a musical genre first and foremost. However, I will say this. It did not grip me as that.
Oh, I loved it.
Does that make sense? No. I liked the music once I was introduced.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, especially playing a video game, it's like you hear those sounds, you're like, man, this band's great.
Well, no, I wasn't introduced through the mainstream, though. The way that I was introduced...
Hipster.
This is fair. This is a bit of a confessional. I'm a social chameleon. To be totally honest...
He's a reptile, ladies and gentlemen.
No matter how well you know me, if you saw me around a larger group of people who were different than you...
You'd blend in and change color to your surroundings.
Basically, yes, that's what I'm saying. And at the time of emo culture, I remember being in 5th grade, still in church youth group.
Whoa.
And there was a girl who was always, I would have called her preppy, but she wore eyeliner.
Ooh, I got a story about a girl like that as well.
Preppy, but she wore eyeliner. And everybody called her emo. And one day I was like, why?
Sounds like a poser.
And one day I was like, why does everyone in the church call her, not the church, but the youth group call her emo? And they're like, because she shops at Hot Topic. And now I had far more questions than answers.
You know, I used to go into Spencer's. It took me a little while, but I would not go on Hot Topic. It would scare me.
I'm so glad you say this. Holy shit.
I'll go in Spencer's all day. Like I don't even smoke weed, but
hang on.
You know.
So my first
I'll hang out near the patchouli smelling weird scents.
So my first instance of experiencing the idea of emo was someone calling this girl who looked totally normal except for the fact that she wore eyeliner, maybe a little thick, emo. And I was just like, okay, whatever that is. And then they said that they shop at Hot Topic. And I was becoming a mall rat at this time. And so Hot Topic was there. And I remember the first time I ever walked into Hot Topic, I walked in and got super awkward because I thought it was suddenly just a female store. And I was looking at the
shirts
jeans,
are looking kind of tight.
I was like, "Oh God, this
isn't my
girl
small
stuff." And so that was my first honest experience with the Mecca, which was Hot Topic. South Park got that shit right. The moment you got a Hot Topic in your town, it was like, well, people are going to start dressing like this.
Yeah, I want to say shout out. I think it's MC Lars. The song Hot Topic is not punk rock.
I got introduced to emo culture in 2005.
Really?
Then I was in 5th grade. It's nice that my dates and my grades match up perfectly.
5th grade Dylan, the emo kid.
No. That's not what I'm saying, Christian.
Oh.
I was not emo. Youth church group. It was my first introduction to the term.
Am I emo?
I wasn't, but the next year is when it started for me. The next year is when I moved to middle school.
Just rattle around your brain. You had the whole summer off to think about emo. I'm gonna come back bigger, better than ever. I'm gonna have guyliner, and everyone's gonna love the new Dylan.
It didn't happen like that at all. It's very gradual for me.
Okay.
So I moved into from 5th grade into 6th grade into middle school, and we joined with a different school. So if you remember back to the 9/11 pod, the school that I usually went to for most of my childhood was one school, and then in 2nd grade I moved to a different school, which was entirely bombed out, depleted, and different. And then those two schools merge during middle school and just become one school, and then into high school it's just one school,
like some sort of symbiote,
basically. So everything was new again. This is a theme here, and I was sort of looking around for answers, but I suddenly noticed this culture, this hairstyle, this aesthetic is everywhere. What the fuck is this? And I started looking for answers. Did you have that moment? Not the music, but the style. When did you notice that this, holy shit, everybody in school is dressing like this? What's happening?
Oh, yeah, when it became, like you said, mainstream, about 2005, 2006, sure.
Yeah, so what did you think then?
So, like I said, I was a fan of the music. Like I said, early on, I guess earlier than you, I was aware of, the music and stuff, and I liked it. So that was, again, the first thing. I didn't, because again, you're listening to it, you don't know, you might, you see the artist in the title, but you know what these guys look like. Internet wasn't extremely accessible back then, so, if you get to Google, it's what the chance you get to Google this shit. So I really liked the music, and I liked the sound. Then you'd hear or see some of the videos on, MTV, which was still a thing back then, as little as it was back then. Music videos in general. But I digress. But yeah, like I said, bands like Fall Out Boy,
yes,
AFI, when they started
AFI,
to come,
I'm so glad you mentioned
when they started
AFI.
coming up on TRL and stuff, My Chemical Romance, 30 Seconds to Mars, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, the bands that kind of focus on things like angst, self-harm, suicide. But again, we'll get into that a little bit more later. One thing I actually did want to mention about how like it affects the culture, the music as well. Like bands like Slipknot, they were like out like I want to say like Idaho, some boring ass or Iowa, some boring ass place.
Iowa. They were from Des Moines. It
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
their big thing.
So yeah, it's like you live in a shitty ass place like that, you're gonna come out with some dark music, you know. So a lot of the emo bands came out of like New Jersey. New Jersey's
Yes,
shithole.
emo is very suburban.
Yeah.
Emo is I'm white middle class family, and my parents work all the time, and they don't really have time for me. So I have a lot of time to be anxious to myself. And again, I know that sounds sarcastic. I'm not saying it that way. That was me. That was literally me. There was a subdivision near my house in rural Kentucky. Not like bumpkin rural, but like
drive around.
I lived within city limits of the fourth largest city in Kentucky, but I still lived on the very outer limits of this, and we had a large farm and things like that. But we could very easily access the fourth largest city in Kentucky. Not to brag.
So I was gonna say with the emo kids, New Jersey sparking anything?
Oh, yes, it was definitely a suburban phenomenon.
Yes.
And even in my small rural Kentucky town, I felt that. So, like, it definitely trickled down from huge suburbs in New York, D.C., and L.A., and it filtered out through the internet. We were the first internet culture. I'm sorry, I'm using we as emos, where people would, like, get on LiveJournal or MySpace.
Oh, yeah.
And just talk about their feelings and their problems, and that was comforting. And so 6th grade, 7th grade, I was sort of like adjacent to this culture. 8th grade, my grandma dies. And she was like the thing tying me to like church, the thing tying me to like tradition, the thing tying me to a lot of just normal societal things. And when she was gone, it was such a blow to me that like suddenly I was just like wandering and looking for a home. Not to be overly dramatic, but I
found this community.
Yes, I had a lot of emo friends, and it was a community that I fell into, and I was like, yeah. And then it's like suddenly the lyrics sounded different. The lyrics made a lot more sense. I felt very introspective and very different. And I kind of point to that
as a teenager,
right? I mean, honestly, I kind of point to that like 8th grade year as the moment when my taste in music changed completely from like, this song is fucking fun to, wow, I really like what they're trying to say here. I think that was a huge point for me because it was like I started paying attention to the lyrics of songs a lot more after my grandma died because I was just a lot more introspective.
See, I was always more about the music itself, not necessarily the comments. Like I said, because I wasn't like super emotional myself. But I love the music, you know? So I feel like it was amped up, and I took it all for what it was. And like, sure, I like the aesthetic. Maybe I'm not going to say I wish I had like the emo haircut, you know, the emo-over. But
I tried to get it. It doesn't work. You've seen my hair. It's basically like a Jew fro on steroids.
And mine's an actual Jew fro.
Yours is a literal Jew
mixed
fro.
with Puerto Rican steroids.
Yours is a Puerto Rican Jew fro.
Yeah.
That's not disparaging. That's the God's honest truth. That is the man's ancestry. Yes. I've seen it.
So I think I wasn't.
I tried and I got told on by the I knew a hairdresser. My best friend's mom was a hairdresser, and I was like, "Yo, could you do me like this big favor?
Can you give me the Justin Bieber cut?
Can you like dye my hair black and straighten it and then layer it and make it like look really good like this picture of this band?" And she was like, "I can't do any of that. I think you worship demons, and I'm gonna tell your stepmom."
Hey, same Dylan, right? Worshiping demons. High five to that. So yeah, I was definitely more in it from the music side per se. But you had emo, and I think later on you had like your scenesters. I'd say closer to bands like Paramore, perhaps.
Paramore really, honestly, sticks pretty true to emo genre.
Pop band now, huh?
I'm actually not a fan of Paramore, but I'll defend them in this regard.
I love Riot.
They stayed there longer than they needed to.
Well, because they said they changed it up, and I'll get into that in a bit. So I mentioned like some bands already, but I did want to mention Panic at the Disco.
One of my favorites.
They rejected emo culture.
They did. This is familiar.
Rightfully so.
No. I don't think so.
I think it's because they didn't want to be like associated with like self-harm and stuff.
I think that whole thing was misunderstood.
That's what I read.
The whole fucking thing is misunderstood. For the pod, did you ever cut yourself?
No.
Unironically,
No.
Did you ever sit in a room alone and cut yourself?
Nope. I thought about if I were to hang myself, and then I was like, man, that's a lot of work, and I was like, fuck it.
I definitely did, especially after I don't know if this is like too morbid, perhaps, but I sort of found like different tools to make it work better, and it was very easy for me. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to like spread ideas, right?
Yeah, I never did none of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to spread ideas. I don't want to tell people what I was using that made it easier for me to self-harm. But I found things that made it easier for me to self-harm, and I started using them, and cutting myself became far easier. And I was never like... So obviously I don't have any scars on my arms. Like
Papa Roach scars?
I don't have any massive scars. I don't have any fucking... I just don't have that because that wasn't me. But it was something that I did because it was becoming a popular outlet for people. Does that make sense?
It does.
And it was spreading all over the internet and all over the fucking media. This was something that baffled me. The more the media came out against emo culture, they did not understand what they were going against. Not that emos are formidable, but emo culture, a large pillar of emo culture, is anti-establishment, anti-media. Green Day, one of the Green Day's not
American Idiot, that whole album.
American Idiot's not an emo album by any stretch, but emos certainly love American Idiot, and the aesthetic is certainly emo. And
it's gonna come up in your shuffle.
The same people are listening to that song, or to that album.
It's like pop punk, which is like emo pop, emo. It's all alternative.
It was.
That's how this whole thing kind of gets all together. Along the lines of the self-harm and all that stuff, which unfortunately was part of the culture. Michael Corrance put out a song called Teenagers, which I think was very...
they scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah, useful for the time and fully relatable now.
Indeed. The media thing about self-harm was just fucking crazy. And like, any time that you see news footage now from the emo time period that we're talking about, from like 2005 to 2006, when it was on
2006, 2007,
when it was on your nightly news, and then there was a guy warning you about the dangers of emo culture, and are your children cutting themselves?
And they go to a fucking anime convention to get all the weirdos.
Right, and it's just like, God damn, is this really what you think this is?
It's like the long fucking iron bangs is like the epitome of it.
Where is it? My point of bringing up Green Day is to say that that's the type of ideas that emo culture had. It was very rebellious against the media, against mainstream culture. And so to have mainstream culture and media being like, emos are bad and they're doing this, you're doing nothing but just like signaling, hey, do more of this because you're getting at them. That's how it felt to me. And
I feel that.
I also sort of felt like someone who was always sort of an outsider because I never felt like totally honest in my emo-ness. Does that make sense?
Inauthentic, ironically.
Perhaps inauthentic.
See, that's why I can say I'm not an emo. Like I can say like I love the music, was not down with getting in my feels per se over the tunes.
I was so much into the music and so much into the tunes and the lyrics, and I actually followed through on some of the self-harm stuff. And it's like, that was a real wrap up. And I don't know, if you talk to people who weren't in it, it's just like this blip and they're like, oh yeah, LOL, emos, fucking, there's some like memes that I remember.
So one thing I wanted to clarify, the difference between emo and scene kids.
That's sort of where I started losing it, because I'm not gonna lie, screamo music doesn't do it for me.
So screamo was definitely big as far as the scene kids go, but I think that's the defining line where emo, the culture splits, is when it becomes more about aesthetic than the music or the culture itself. It becomes purely about aesthetic. That's what I think scenesters are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's what, like, where I say it's like you could definitely say Paramore's emo, but they were definitely also like scene. And I mean, how about the song from Fall Out Boy? This ain't a scene; it's an arms race. Yeah. I think that's a double entendre.
I think so.
Like, he's saying, like, you know, there's a bunch of us out here right now. Like this scene ain't gonna last. Like, it's a fucking like we're loading up. You know.
That's a very different perspective to that song I've never thought about.
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
I do, though. Yes, I do.
And to just put a note on Fall Out Boy's reign, they put out an album in 2003, 2005, 2007, 2008. They were just fucking going nuts. Follow You Do, Infinity on High, like, goddamn, right? But by the 2010s, started dying off. Like I said, Fall Out Boy retired, semi-retired.
Semi-retired. They did have a tour recently.
They're still on tour, I think.
They are.
With other emos.
Yes,
Green Day and Weezer.
My Chemical Romance.
Weezer and Green Day.
Weezer and Green Day. That's right. It's Weezer and Green Day.
So like I said, you have these scenesters who were more about the aesthetic of the emo culture. By proxy music, sure, but more so like whatever they heard in Hot Topic, and they just wanted to go there because they wanted to fit in. Really.
I think of emo culture as a spectrum stretching from the emo core of Fugazi and some of the other bands that were at the very beginning, the like Washington D.C., Newark, L.A. punk scene. Okay,
to scene. I
mean,
would hard cut off that scene, or would you include that in emo? It's definitely a subgenre.
It is part of it is, and we have to own that. Scene is a part of the emo subgenre, and here's what I say: you go from emo core, which is emotional hardcore, which is some band members
to alternative
will point out is a bullshit phrase, because how can you be hardcore and non-emotional? That's very difficult to do. There is a spectrum, and you get into the spectrum, and how much are you dedicated to the actual emotion of the music? Yeah. How much does the emotion affect your life? How much are you thinking about that? And if that affects the way you dress and the way you act, that's one thing. But you start becoming more and more scene when it's just more of an aesthetic. Like you said, it's just it becomes less about the music, and you can see that in the music itself. At least I do, in the fact that I knew a lot of people who, you go to anyone's MySpace page, which is like a time capsule frozen in time from your like middle school days. You go to that MySpace page and they still have emo song lyrics all over their fucking MySpace page.
Oh yeah, glitter graphics and
it's in no way
mouse pointer.
They don't have scene lyrics all over their fucking MySpace page, because scene lyrics, screamo, and all of that is just. It's just an aesthetic.
So let me ask you. So we go from emo core to alternative to emo to, we'll say, screamo and scene, right? Emo's kind of on the decline.
I see that.
Then where do the scene kids go when the emo bands stop making emo music?
I want to say hip hop.
No. You're halfway right.
Am I?
Not hip hop. Hipsters. Yes.
Wow.
Scenesters are hipsters. I give you a good example, mentioned earlier in the day. Scott Pilgrim series. The typical Ramona Flowers haircut, with the hair down the sides, short, mostly all around. I witnessed that as a big part of emo, more so scene, culture, specifically 2006 through like 2008. Yes.
Really?
Yes. So you see what I'm saying? Hipsters, that's all they are anyway. They're scenesters. They're just in it for the bandwagon of it, essentially. Does that make sense? Like the natural progression?
Does. Yes, it is.
Because by 2010 they started to morph. By 2014, full on.
Yeah, 2014 I was already out of it.
Oh yeah,
I
don't know what you were, but hipsters were definitely the thing. By 2011, you started to see them like, okay, so they're taking off their mascara. I knew a girl in 8th grade who was like full on like mascara, black bangs, all that shit. One day, just like popped out of Abercrombie, curled her blonde hair, just fucking out of it. And of course, everyone else was like, bam, bam, bam. But you still had those hardcore ones like years later.
That is an interesting phenomena that you're talking about that I didn't even think about while thinking about this pod.
Yeah.
Is seeing people stop.
They became hipsters, man.
Seeing people, no, I mean,
it's all inauthentic.
Some
not all of them.
Some of them became preppies.
Some of them are still seen right now.
Some of them joined fucking cheerleading squad.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Some of them were just like the fucking like volleyball team, like girls who were just like, fuck it, whatever. This isn't really my thing anymore. And I'm not gonna say that I was better than any of that because it was definitely just a thing for me. It was something I latched onto. I had a shitty household lifestyle. I was living in shitty conditions with family dynamics, and then my grandma dies, and I was looking for answers, and I found a group of people who took me in, and I felt a home.
Emo music
And emo culture. If you need a group of people to fucking pat you on the back and say we are here for you, emos are one of the best groups for that fucking genre. Like they will be there for you. That's their whole vibe, and it's a very community-based group of people.
So speaking of being there for you, about 2014, I said hipsters were like full-fledged. That's what they morphed into. Further proving my point, 2013, Fall Out Boy comes back on the scene. More electronic than ever, more mainstream, more poppy than ever. Of course, if you were at least, scenes back in the day, you probably listened to Fall Out Boy. Now you get to be a hipster in Taco Bell listening to Fall Out Boy. Circle completes. But did you have anything else you want to add about emo scene stuff? Or you want to go to the next? How about Chiodos? Am I right? Remember that band?
Possibly.
Okay.
So it is that time of year.
It is that time of year. Gobble, gobble, baby.
Oh, that's a turkey.
Yes, the turkey. Do you have anything that you're thankful for, Dylan?
Yes, I do. I have a very specific thing that I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
I am thankful for my girlfriend.
Shout out Kayla.
I am thankful to Kayla Carter. She is just the most beautiful and perfect thing that I will never in my life deserve. And she makes every day brighter. And me and her, we have our differences and we fight and we have our little scrapes as couples do. But god damn it, do I love that woman? Do I love her more than anything? And she has stood by me through some stuff that women should not take. But she has stood by me nonetheless. And I cannot talk about things that I'm thankful for without talking about her because she is that high on the top of the fucking list. Like, she dominates the top of the list from a lofty position. She is the most important thing in my life. I saw it firsthand tonight, stressing out because she needs to make sure that I feel super special and my birthday is celebrated.
It was a wonderful cake.
It was absolutely wonderful cake, and she did it all on her own, and she does such a good job. I do not deserve her. Baby, I love you so much. Thank you for everything that you do. You are absolutely the thing that I am thankful for.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, there's some
I'm
other...
not expecting or anything.
There's some other stuff that I like, but...
Nothing beats that?
Nothing beats that? Nothing beats KO. Nothing beats KO.
All right. Should I take it away then?
Please.
All right, so things I'm thankful for at the top of my list was you.
Oh, god damn it. Now I feel fucking terrible now.
Because without you, this podcast wouldn't be a thing.
God
I had
damn
all the
it.
pieces, but you were the missing piece.
I literally almost threw you in there, and I was like, I don't want to sound cheesy.
Also, you're up there, obviously. Not second place, but just the second thing I want to mention.
I get it.
Is the listeners.
There's got to be some of them.
The listeners.
There can't be many, but there's got to be some. And we do appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, don't let me sound like a fucking asshole only talking about my girlfriend. We appreciate you, too. We really do.
My loved ones. Everybody that I love. So, everybody, basically. I'm thankful for you guys.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them, every single last one. I'm thankful for having limbs,
That's pretty nice.
Like, people don't think about that stuff enough. And it's funny, I was having a conversation with when I want to get a big old Tupperware container to put my skeletons in, after Halloween. Ladies like, yeah, I'm putting some skeletons away. I was like, I'll put some skeletons away too. So we had a nice conversation.
Lovely.
So I'm thankful for little moments like that. The fact that my phone was okay this morning, getting nearly run over on a highway.
Almost ran over.
So I'm thankful for those, like I said, those little moments. Guests of the show, friends, family, if I didn't mention those already. Awesome people in my life that I have every day. Thankful for all you guys. The Trio fam, thankful for Alyssa's hugs. Are they not the best?
They are. Alyssa does indeed give some of the best hugs.
So I'm thankful for all that stuff. And I'll stress again, you, the listeners, as well. It's been fun.
It's been a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah, and
I feel like I learn so much every
forward
time
to
we do
doing
a pod.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't ever actually act on it. I don't know if the listeners have paid any attention. There was a whole lot of uhs and ums and
Sometimes.
likes in my first 2 pods. And after that, I was like, I'm not going to say ums and uhs and likes as much as possible.
Yeah, it's something where I think we're tightening up on it. I think.
But see, here's the sad thing is that what that really turned into for me was just I'm just going to say fuck and fucking and fucked and motherfucker as much as I possibly can.
We're getting better. Yeah, I like how when you read the Google transcripts of the sayings, it just blanks out all the words. So that's a good way to tell.
Yeah, I should. Oh, does it really?
Sure does.
Damn, that's embarrassing. I never even thought about that.
So yeah, we won't be having a pod next week because it is Thanksgiving and all that stuff. We'll have, family affairs, whatnot. We just won't have time to properly get together and do that.
We'll be together in spirit, but not
for sure
virtually like this.
So I guess it'll be my turn to choose a topic.
I believe it would be.
And I would like to talk about autism.
Quite well done. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
I am cautious.
Why would you be cautious, Dylan?
I don't know. I don't know why I'd be cautious. I feel like a nice little bit of this podcast is you saying hurtful shit to demographics and me having to clean it up.
You said hurtful things to Democrats?
Demographics, but
okay.
It's a different thing. I
don't like euphemisms.
It wasn't.
We'll call it like I see it. So yeah, a little bit of a break. Come back. We're talking about autism. Anything else you want to say, Dylan?
I just want to say that, you know what? You actually inspired me. I am indeed. I just want to say it from the bottom of my heart. Thankful to the viewers. Thankful to you, Chris, for giving me this opportunity. Once again, thankful to my girlfriend and to all my friends who have made Thanksgiving and the holiday seasons much more enjoyable in my adult life as opposed to in my child life. And I'm very, very, very thankful for that. Thank you to everybody out there. Thank you for listeners at home. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving with everything else said. See you in the next Sounds Obtuse Podcast. Peace and love. Peace and love, guys. We'll see you later. All right, you heard it. Hot take. J.K. Rowling needs to shut the fuck up. Honestly, the fact that I'm a beta male makes me bet on the little guy.